Do you find yourself saying, even posting, why isn't my book selling? What could I do more for it? Have you even reached the place where you're ready to give up or have already given up because your book didn't do what you had dreamed of it doing? This isn't the end. In fact, you're probably not even quite at the beginning yet, but I can help. I'm here for you, and there are solutions for exactly what you need to do in order for your book to be seen, to be known, to be ranked, and most importantly, to continue to sell. Let's talk a little bit about that. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 41 books and counting. Over the course of the last 40 years in business, the last 20 of which I've worked almost exclusively with authors, helping over 5,000 authors reach bestseller status. But more importantly, all the things that come beyond that. I've had the wonderful privilege of working with doctors and lawyers and nurses, but also with with people just like you, people that are brand new startup companies, people who are struggling, people who have sometimes even given up because they just really don't see the dream that they had coming true. It can be very, very frustrating. I totally get it. But what I want you to know is I don't understand why LinkedIn isn't working, but we'll just keep moving on here while I look at that. I mean, I want you to know and understand that you are incredible at what you do. You're amazing. The world needs you. And absolutely, the book that you wrote does need to be shared with the world. And so real quick here, I'm going to, I don't understand here. Okay, so something is going on with LinkedIn. I apologize, LinkedIn people. We noticed you recently tried to sign in by following these instructions. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Your book is absolutely so incredibly cool, but it can be very frustrating for you to have that book and put all of your heart and soul and life and breath into it, and then have it, not really do what you wanted it to do. That can feel so, even really to the extent of being upsetting. And often we find ourselves giving up, just wanting to be done with the whole thing because of the fact that, the book didn't come through the way that we wanted it to. But I want you to know that more than anything, there is a solution. I want you to be able to take solace, if you will, to really truly know and understand that there is a process for your book being seen. So let's talk a little bit about what that is. It doesn't matter really what level you're at. Your book needs a couple of things in order to succeed. First of all, you need solid and good SEO. You need your book to show up on Amazon, which is a search engine. And that's a matter of having good search engine optimization for your book that is on the search engine that is Amazon. That means your keywords, your categories, your descriptions, all of those kind of things need to be in place so that people can know specifically when they're searching for your book. Rather, Amazon can know specifically what search results to give your book for it. They need to know the specifics. They need to understand the details of it. And all too often, sadly, unfortunately, we don't really, do those kind of things. We don't have our SEO set up. perfect example for that is, absolutely is the description of your book. I was looking at a person's book just yesterday evening, actually. I'm looking at people's books all day long through the course of any given day, but I was looking at this specific person's book. This person is a celebrity. They've got some, really good recognition for the things that they've done. Whether you know their name or not, you absolutely know some of the things that they've done in the world. However, their book hasn't really done what they wanted it to do. And as I was looking at their description, I saw immediately, great description. Okay, no diss about that at all. Absolutely, it was a really, really good description. Very well written. Definitely tells you what it is. Draws people in. Capitalizes on their celebrity. All those kind of things. It missed one piece, and that's the fact that a search engine is going to look at about the first 60-ish characters of your description. So it's going to look at first your title. It's going to, put that into, listing of, okay, this book based on the title more than likely belongs in this area and should come up for this search. Then they do the same thing with the description. They take about the first 60 characters. They don't take the whole entire thousands of characters. They take about the first 60. And they go, okay, based on this intro, this is what it is. So you need to really let people know right up front, okay? People and the search engine, both simultaneously. So we've got about 7 seconds. It's probably less than that now, but 7 is the last statistic I heard before a person hits the back button when they come to your book listing. They need to know immediately, I was searching for a book that is on this subject or that is this type of fiction that I want to enjoy reading kind of situation. The cover did its job. Hopefully, if the cover didn't do its job, they didn't click in there to begin with. Okay, so we do judge books by their cover. I hate to break it to you, but that's just totally true. The cover did its job. They're there. And then in that very first line, we got to let them know, this is what you're looking for. This is the book you want to read. And there's some specific ways that we can do with that. Beyond, so we've got title, we've got description, we talked about the cover. There's also then the categories. One insider tip, if you will, the categories that currently exist on Amazon come because they are the most highly searched phrases on Amazon. Like, for example, I was looking at a book the other day that was a psychological thriller, which is totally, in fact, actually, there's about 4 or 5 different placements that you could put a psychological thriller under suspense, under literature. There's a couple of different ways that you can, just off of that one phrase, there's multiple categories for that. And then, of course, there's even more when you get into teen and young adult books as well. So it's about understanding and knowing what categories are going to serve your book. So no, I know there's people out there, I don't know if they're still teaching it. I know there was a lot of teaching of, you pick a category like underwater basket weaving. I always use that one. I don't think there is an underwater basket weaving category. But you pick an obscure category that has very few books in it, and you just put your book in there. Doesn't have anything to do with that. But because there's low competition, you can rank highly in that category. I'm not talking about that. Because at the end of the day, number one, Amazon will probably recategorize your book and stick it in a different category. Number two, you will lose traction versus gain it. And number three, you really want the people who are looking for the kind of book you wrote. Fiction or nonfiction, doesn't matter. You need those kind of people. Okay? And so we need it to be in the right categories. But we need it to be in categories that we can rank in. Most of us, myself included, so don't feel guilty about this, most of us tend to write our first book and it's very helpful. And so we're like, well, then it should go in self-help because it's going to help people, right? Almost never. Most of the time, you're writing a business leadership training book, or you're writing a inspirational, spiritual type of book, or you're writing a personal growth type of book. Okay. All of those are actually categories that exist, but they exist in other places. Okay. And there can be more granularity with that when you know specifically some of those kind of things. You also have to keep updated with it because as a category gains more and more popularity, in other words, more people find it, put their books in there, you know, two things happen. Number one is that category gets more and more full. Number two is that often there will be new categories that are created because of more granularity of specificity. Granularity of specificity. That's fun words, right? You know, so all of those kind of things come to play when it comes into categories. And then there's the keywords. And all too often we put in very generic keywords. We put in keywords that's like, well, you know, this book is psychological and it's a thriller and it's, you know, based in New Orleans, you know, and we put those in there. And more than likely, that's not what people are searching for. Okay, so again, we know that category words are words that people absolutely search for. We know that, you know, specific word phrases are more likely to get specific searches. Okay, it's a two-edged sword. If you put in all of your keywords as very specific search phrases that are not categories, you may end up reducing the number of people that find your book because the keywords don't match with searches that people use. You got to know who your reader is. Now, all of that seems and feels can, even as I say it, having, you know, doing it all day long, it can feel overwhelming. That's the good news, is we can actually come in and do all of that SEO for you. We've done it more than 5,000 times. We have 100% success doing that and then relaunching or launching, if you will, the book and having it really do specifically rank on the bestseller list on Amazon. So that's very doable, very, very workable, not a problem at all. From there, then you have ongoing. Ongoing, there are two things that you want. The number one and most important of that is you want reviews. You want ongoing, consistent reviews of your book, which really, honestly, I could tell you that's a full-time job. Just reaching out to people, getting them to buy your book, following up with them. Did you like the book? What do you think about the book? And getting them to do the review. Yeah, you could spend all of your hours. You could spend more than 40 hours a week just doing that, just on your book. And again, that's where we come in because we can help you. We've got all the systems in place to do the legwork of that. So we're not selling reviews. We have a system for us doing that manual finding of people who buy your book and follow up to ask those people that liked your book if they wouldn't mind leaving a review. Reviews are going to be, more than anything else, the signal. Hey, this book is something that you want to check out. We check reviews. We absolutely do. So that's a couple of things. Like I said, there's a few other things that you need to do to ongoingly be visible with your book. Having it being mentioned in other places like media and stuff like that. You know, even in your local community, going to local bookstores and saying, hey, you know, could I do a book signing here? I mean, if you go into a mom and pop bookstore, they may have literally never had anybody ask if they could do a book signing. Might be a great place for you to get a book signing. And yeah, you may only have 2 or 5 people that come in if you sit in there the whole entire day, because it may be a really tiny, small town. But all those people are going to be very excited. And the bookstore owner is going to be very thrilled that they got a chance to be able to do a book signing. And it grows from there. There are so many things you can do. And if you are ready to rise above the noise and be the signal instead of the noise, just comment down below or over to the side, whichever one you're looking at. Comment the word clear. Let's get you clear on what's not creating the signal, what's causing the problem, and then let's get you seen. That's an amazing book you wrote. Now let's help you do something with it. Okay? I'm so grateful to be here with you. I hope that you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And that until we're together again next time, that you have a great week.